Well, good morning, everybody. I'm Jan Erickson from Stepping Aside, and welcome to today's Esoteric Influences for the 24th day of July, 2020. Well, I hope everybody's doing well today. I did not get to pick my raspberries last night, so after I'm done here, I have to go out and do that before the sun really gets up too high. Because once it does, it changes the lighting and it gets really warm and all of that. So while that's still going to be in the 80s today, I'm gonna get that done today and see just what I've got out there. I don't know. Um, Hopefully there's not a whole lot yet. It's the first picking, so we'll see. Otherwise, I could be out there for several hours. So anyway, today we have with it being the 24th of July, we have a six energy for today. So higher self energies are in play. That's both with the 6 and the 22 year. Our balance and with that, our balance should be easily maintained today. Balance in terms of emotions and reactions and things like that. We should be able to maintain some kind of a balance today. Intuition is strong and new beginnings are possible, especially with those closest to you. Make an impact if you can, especially if people are struggling with one thing or another. Try to help them, achieve that sense of balance that's possible today. Stay out of ego, remain in higher self-presence, and it should make it all a whole lot easier. In other words, take advantage of both the 6 and the 22. 7 for the month, that's balance, balancing shadow side of self with spirit. So letting things come to rest. It's that sort of energy for today, basically. However, there's some unknown factor with Perthro. That's our rune for today. It's the 14th rune of the Elder Futhark. It's a water element rune. It means birth, womb, chance. In a sense, it's the cup from which dice are tossed, or it's the cup from which the runes are cast. And so it's the idea of understanding fate. It's also thought to be the well of word from which the runes were taken to give to Odin as he hung upside down from the world tree by the Norns, the goddesses down below that guarded the well. It's basically the well of fate in a way. It could denote childbirth and healing. Cause and effect, synchronicity, can be thought to be a cauldron. Depends on how it presents. There it can be thought to be a cauldron, or used that way in a bind rune to have a cauldron effect. Also for divination. This is one of the runes where direction is important. Here it's open to birth. Here it's open to death, or beginnings and endings if you don't want to get real literal about it. So Perthro is actually a pretty complex rune, but basically from it we should probably take the idea that we should watch for synchronicities today, as we all continue to take control of both our individual and collective fate. Choose wisely any outside contact with others today, and if the situation isn't to your liking, then make a different choice. Know that it's unnecessary for anyone to compromise their safety because of the short-sighted behavior of others. We're looking at that now as if life were not complicated enough with the virus, trying to stay safe there and to not get sick. Now we've got to deal with whoever these people are from the Department of Homeland Security. So, there's a lot of unknown, and instead of just trying to stay safe, and the other thing, they want the children to go back to school. And for some, that begins next month. Now, in Oregon, it doesn't begin until September. But I don't know why that is. I don't know how many states begin school in August and how many do it after Labor Day. But I don't know if it was a planned staggering, or I don't know how that happened actually. But we don't open until is it the Tuesday after Labor Day is when the school typically opens again in the fall. But I'm hoping that doesn't happen here in Oregon. I'm hoping that we just don't do that. That we make provisions for home learning, distance learning. You don't have to physically be in a classroom to do this. There may be some things that become a little more challenging, but there's ways to teach this stuff and to have the kids learn without having to compromise their safety. We put education in this box, and maybe we shouldn't have. learning is a free experience. I don't know why we have to pigeonhole everything. But again, lots of things are being introduced now that are scaring the crap out of people. So, and I suspect that that's the point of it. Okay, so remember that when you're when you're trying to figure out what's going on, maybe you should try to look at it as, okay, what are they trying to do to us now to get us to where we're so demoralized that they can just run roughshod over us at that point. We can't fight back. We're too sick. We're too afraid. You see what I mean? That's the kind of thing you need to when Perth Row comes into play. It's the unknown. And a lot of it right now is the unknown of what the government's going to do to all of us. This is ridiculous what's happening, and we shouldn't stand for it. The moon's in Virgo today until it transitions into Libra at the end of not the total end of the day, almost 7 o'clock p.m., 6:54 p.m. to be exact, Pacific Daylight Time. So you're going to feel that sense of routine, sort of, especially if you're having issues with health or whatever, because you ate the wrong foods. It's usually you stress eat when it's the Virgo time or you're a Virgo yourself, and sometimes you just get out of whack because you kind of put yourself there. It's just basically a Virgo's response to stress. But you should start to see that balance out in the afternoon. If you're still experiencing it in the morning. So allow emotions to settle into harmonious Libra in the early evening if you can. A focus on routine during the day allows for interactions with others in the evening. So take care of what you got to take care of, and then kind of shift your attention, maybe, visit online with somebody or what have you. And that would be probably the better option right now. A trine between the moon and Saturn in the evening indicates self-confidence is high and you feel respected by others. So whatever worry you might have been experiencing with the moon in Virgo, and if you're also a Virgo, if it's just magnifying some of the issues you experience, some of that should begin to settle in the afternoon and in the early evening. So, and I think that whatever fear you had over maybe what others think of you, or how they're, or whatever it is, whatever feelings you have about others will likely be proven to be just more the position of the moon than anything else. Is sort of transitory. So know that you're respected by others, and that doesn't change even when the moon's in Virgo or Scorpio or something else, right? Okay. So regarding the human design section of the chart today, your natural leadership ability shines forth today, and you readily delegate duties to others in an appropriate and positive way. So you help keep things organized for people today. But take a step back and regroup if necessary, particularly if the way forward is unclear or leaves success in doubt. It's as if we're all wading through mud right now as we all contend with the chaos imposed by a greater authority that makes no sense, right? So collaborate with others today if a new path is needed. But don't be afraid to suggest that. If everybody's sort of milling about and confusion seems to be reigning on everybody, then don't be afraid to speak up and say, listen, I think this is the direction we need to go. Let's talk about it. Don't impose your will on others, but at the same time, kind of, act as the facilitator for something like that, especially if things are not clear and people want to push forward anyway. Maybe remind them gently, well, that's not necessarily going to work out given all of the unknowns that we're experiencing today. So just say it's a Perth Row day, folks. We don't know what we don't know. So we have to pay attention. We have to. And the other thing about Perth Row is the idea of controlling our fate. Part of the interpretation of Perth Row is the notion that the Norns control men's fate. Well, ultimately what that's saying, it isn't 3 women that control the fate of men, although these days, wouldn't it be nicer if maybe the moms were in charge? But it isn't that. It's that the greater consciousness ultimately controls our fate, controls when we come into form, controls when we leave it. It's the higher self experience. It's the soul that controls all of that, right? So in a sense, the Norns control men's fate. If you look at the Norns as the higher self, you know, in alignment, coming into to offer new experiences and present new challenges for us to face. It's really just part of the overall plan that we have when we each come into form as to what our life is going to look like. So to me, in my view, if we allow higher self to control the fate, what we're saying is we're allowing higher self to control the ego, and we're allowing higher self to control how we see things and how we respond to things, how we react to things. And so I think that that's really, if we put it in the hands of higher self, I think we do better than if we allow ego to run amok and make all the decisions on our behalf. So I really think that that's what that's talking about. So think about that today and see if it's possible to access that higher resonance within and focus on it, and just tell yourself, you know, I'm going to do that. I'm going to look within. I'm going to allow my frequency to rise. And it's funny, it just sort of happens when you do that. Stay out of the negative. Stay positive, but not, you know, delusionally so. Pay attention to synchronicities. Pay attention to what's going on. If something seems odd, feel into it and try to understand the truth of it from a different angle, instead of just looking at, you know, oh, he did this, she did this, he said that, whatever. Look behind it. Try to figure out what the underlying message, what are they really trying to say? Because some people talk in a complete distraction from what's really within them. Typically that's called lying. But, you know, they don't necessarily see it as that. They're just keeping their own counsel while they're saying something completely that they don't believe to other people, and somehow they think that's okay. So there you have this weird, you know, underlying stuff that I think Perthro talks about, you know, the cauldron of fate, basically. Well, fate's in our hands. It is. And so if you don't speak up when you should, then you're giving fate to someone else. You're giving the control of that to someone else, you see. Now, timing is always important, but at some point, you have to stand up if something's happening to you. You have to speak up and say, hey, wait a minute, stop, time out, right? Well, that's kind of the energy for today. So in any event, all of it, though, if handled appropriately, things can come into balance. And especially by the evening when the moon moves into Libra. So in any event, I guess that's it. We'll close out here. Excuse me. I need to go and watch this and get it published so I can go out and visit my raspberries. The patch is huge, and it's taller than me. And I have them in big rows. Well, like 2 rows in each section, right? So I can go down the center of them, except that it's all grown together. But there's wires in there to keep them all where they need to be. It's just they've all grown together, and until I walk through them, I don't know. I won't be able, no one will see me in there, so I'll be hidden with my bowl, picking. And the ducks will be in there trying to pick with me, so that will be fun. I'll have to tell them no. Go away. Anyway. Thanks a lot, you guys. You have a wonderful day. Be good to yourself. Be good to one another. Please wear a mask if you go out and about today, no matter what it is that you're doing. And blessed be.